Welcome to Not Your Average Counsellor, the space where we tackle the unfiltered, often messy realities of love, relationships, and human connection. I'm V Vinci, and I am not your run-of-the-mill counsellor. With over a decade of experience working with clients and my own lived experiences to draw from, I help people all their hidden parts, the good, the bad, and the ugly. Because only when we face our truth can we step into our most authentic selves. This series, Messy Truths, is where we dive headfirst into the things we're all thinking, but nobody's brave enough to say out loud. You know, those 2 a.m. thoughts that make you question everything about your relationship, your choices, your sanity. We're breaking down the tough questions people are often afraid to ask. The ones that make you squirm, laugh nervously, and then immediately text your friend saying, "Oh my God, did you hear that episode?" We'll explore the emotional, psychological, and social dynamics at play. Have you ever wondered if it's manipulative to use your partner's insecurities to win arguments? Or questioned whether you should stay with someone who refuses to work on their mental health? If you've ever found yourself thinking, is it selfish to not want children when my partner desperately does? Or should I fake orgasms to protect my partner's feelings? You're not alone, and you're definitely in the right place. No sugarcoating, no cliches, just honest conversations about the messy, complicated, sometimes hilarious reality of being human in relationships. This is where your inside thoughts finally get their moment in the spotlight. Let's get uncomfortable together. Welcome back to Not Your Average Counsellor. I am V Vinci. Today we're talking about something that quietly reshapes modern relationships more than most people want to admit. So how much of your relationship should you actually share on social media? And I'm not here to give you the polite, watered-down version of this conversation. I want to be the truth teller, the part people feel but don't say out loud. Because in a world where relationships are half lived and half performed, we've blurred the line between intimacy and audience, between connection and curation, and between love and branding. And the reality is that most people don't even realize that they're doing it. Social media has become the third party in so many relationships. It's the silent observer, the uninvited guest, or the invisible pressure. It's the place where people go to feel validated, admired, chosen, or reassured. And it's also the place where people go to hide, to compensate, to distract, or to pretend. So when we ask how much you should share, we're not really talking about posting. We're talking about identity. We're talking about insecurity. We're talking about emotional needs. The parts of ourselves we're trying to soothe or protect. Relationships used to be private by default, but now they're public unless you consciously choose otherwise. And here's the uncomfortable truth. Most people don't post to share their relationship. They post to manage how their relationship looks. They post to control the narrative. They can post to reassure themselves. They post to reassure others. Sometimes they post because they're scared of what silence might imply, or because they're scared of being perceived as less desirable, or less chosen, or less loved. And yes, sometimes they post because, you know what, they're actually happy. But let's not pretend that that's always the case. The real question isn't why do you post, it's what are you trying to feel when you post? Because posting is rarely neutral. It's emotional. It's psychological. It's revealing, even when you think it's not. When someone posts their partner constantly, it might be pride and it might be joy, but it might also be insecurity. It might be fear. It might be a way of saying, look everyone, I'm okay, we're okay, see, we're fine. And when someone never posts their partner, it might be privacy and it might be boundaries, but it also might be avoidance. It might be secrecy. It might be commitment issues. It might be fear of being perceived as unavailable. and it might just be a desire to keep options open. There are two main couples or types of couples online. You got the public couple who post everything. Date nights, anniversaries, selfies, holiday reels, the whole highlight reel. And then you've got the private pair who barely post anything at all. Both can be healthy. Both can be secure. The problem is when these two styles exist in the same relationship. One partner can feel loved through visibility, and the other feels safe through privacy. One thinks posting is connection, the other thinks posting is exposure. One thinks, why wouldn't you share us? And the other thinks, why would you? And the truth is that this is what the truth that most people avoid. Posting preferences are rarely about social media. They're about attachment, identity, and emotional safety. If you don't talk about it, you end up fighting about the symptom instead of the cause. You end up arguing about a photo when the real issue is insecurity. You end up arguing about a caption when the real issue is an emotional need. You end up arguing about a tag when the real issue is fear of abandonment. Social media is just the surface. The real conflict is underneath. So let's get honest about why people post their relationships. So there's a few big ticket ones, right? So what I'll do is I'll give you the word that might describe why someone posts and the thought that often goes with that. And then I'll translate that into a deeper layer emotionally. So the first one we're going to look at is affirmation. So some people post for affirmation. Now, the thought behind those, look how happy we are. But the translation emotionally can often be, I need reassurance. Then we've got the image management poster. The thought process can be, if I post, no one will question us. The translation emotionally could be, I'm scared of how we look. Your third one that we see is the avoiding suspicion poster, right? The thought pattern is, if I don't post, people will think something's wrong. So the translation emotionally is, I care too much about other people's opinions. Then you've got your pride poster. And we're not talking our little gay flag. Pride is, I love this person and I want to celebrate them. The emotional translation under that actually is genuine joy. Who knew? But that's the pride poster. If you love the person, you want to celebrate them, you knock your socks off. But don't fall into the comparison poster. And I reckon everybody's rolling their eyes at that little sucker because that word keeps coming up in my office, comparison. The comparison poster has thought processes around everyone else posts their partner, I should too. The translation emotionally, I'm keeping up, not connecting. Then we've got the compensation poster. Now, this is the thought process that says we're struggling, but if I post something cute of us, maybe it'll feel better. The underlying emotional translation, I'm avoiding the real bloody issue. And here's the disruptive truth. Posting can be a love language or a coping mechanism. It can be a celebration or it can be a bloody cover-up. A connection or a distraction. Both truths can exist at once. But the reality is that most people don't know which one they're doing. Most people don't realise that their posting habits are emotional habits. They don't realise that their silence online is also emotional communication. They don't realise that the internet has become a mirror for their unmet needs. Oversharing is when your relationship becomes content. It looks like posting arguments, sharing cryptic quotes after fights, airing personal drama, or exposing intimate details. And here's the truth. Oversharing is not vulnerability. It's boundaryless. It's using the internet to regulate emotions that you should be regulating with your partner. It's outsourcing emotional processing to an audience. It's turning your relationship into a performance, and it leaves your partner feeling exposed, objectified, misrepresented, embarrassed at best, or completely erased at worst. Oversharing creates a false sense of intimacy. It makes people feel like they're being open when they're actually avoiding the real work. It makes people feel like they're expressing themselves when they're actually broadcasting their pain. And it can make people feel like they're being honest when they're actually bypassing the hard conversations. Oversharing is emotional leakage, not emotional connection. So let's clear up the difference between privacy and secrecy. Privacy is healthy. Secrecy is avoidance. Privacy sounds like, I don't want our relationship online. I prefer to keep personal things personal. Our connection doesn't need an audience. Secrecy sounds like, don't tag me, don't post me, no one can know about us. I don't want people asking questions. Major red flag. But here's the truth that people don't want to hear. If someone is proud of you, they don't hide you. If someone is private, they don't erase you. Privacy protects the relationship. Secrecy protects the person, often for the wrong reason. Sometimes social media becomes a battleground, unfollowing after a fight, deleting photos, posting traps to get attention, using quotes to send messages, changing a relationship status out of spite, or posting what is termed single energy content while still together. That's the old, I'll post a selfie in a bikini in the bathroom, even though I know my partner has concerns around that. Like, you got to ask yourself, why am I doing that? And the answer, because sometimes these behaviors feel powerful in the moment, but they're often emotionally self-harming. They always lead to escalating conflict. They invite public interpretation and they turn private pain into public entertainment. And once the internet is involved, you lose control of the narrative. But go back to what I said. Why would people do these? People can feel powerful. If you have to feel powerful in posting, you are already feeling disempowered somewhere. That's what needs to be addressed, not posted. Social media quietly reshapes relationships in ways that people don't even notice. You compare your real relationship to someone else's curated one. You start posting instead of talking. You chase likes instead of connection. You prioritize how the relationship looks over how it feels. You use posting to avoid difficult conversations. And you start performing happiness instead of actually building it. And this is curated intimacy. You don't experience curated intimacy. Somebody else watches it. And the truth is that the more energy you spend performing your relationship, the less energy you have to actually build it. Healthy couples talk about social media, not because it's dramatic, but because it's practical. What's okay to share? What feels too personal? How do we handle posting after conflict? How do we feel about tagging photos or public declarations? How do we want to keep, or what do we want to keep just for us? Boundaries don't limit connection, they protect it. They create clarity. They prevent misunderstandings. They actually reduce anxiety. And the kicker, they build the very trust that often people who post are trying to gain for their relationship. Healthy sharing comes from contentment, joy, authenticity, not insecurity, compassion, pressure, or performance. Before you post, ask yourself, why am I sharing this? What am I hoping to feel? Would I still post this if no one could see it? Does this honor my partner's privacy? How much you share online doesn't define the strength of your relationship. How you show up offline does. The most meaningful parts of your relationship will always be the ones that never make it to the feed. The quiet moments, the private jokes, the late night conversations, the vulnerable truths, the messy parts, the real parts, the parts that don't need an audience. So ask yourself, Do I post to express love or to get reassurance? How would I feel if my partner shared what I post about them? Does my online presence match how I feel in private? So, thanks for tuning in today. If this episode poked at something real for you, good, I'm glad. These conversations are meant to wake us up, not keep us comfortable. Come find me on socials and tell me what landed or what challenged you. And if someone in your world needs this reality check, please feel free to pass it on. Take care of yourself, and remember, the healthiest relationships are built in private, not performed in public. One of my big goals for this year is to get this podcast into the ears of more people who genuinely need it. So if this episode has made you think, feel, or see things a little differently, I need to ask you a favour. Follow it, rate it, leave a comment, or share it with someone who might need it too. The more you pay it forward, the more I get to keep doing what I do and hopefully help a few more people along the way. And don't stop there. Be sure to tag me at @VVincieTherapist so that I can see and connect with you. I love hearing your thoughts and takeaways, so my inbox is always open. DM me anytime. Thanks again for listening. I'll catch you next time.